Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk animated shows and movies here, especially Miraculous Ladybug and the Owl House. Find everything about us at overlyanimated.com. I'm your host, Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hi there.
Back to talk more Ladybug, finally. And of course, it's the hotly anticipated post-season 5 release that everyone wants us to talk about. Action! Nope, not the Paris special. Sorry, guys. Sorry, not happening right now. It'll be later. Has not aired yet in the US, but we will eventually cover it. But we need to catch up first on Action, which is on the Miraculous YouTube. And I don't think it's actually aired on Disney, but who cares?
No.
And then, more importantly, we will be revisiting a big topic that we did not discuss in enough depth in our season 5 finale podcast, and I will elaborate on what that is once I put up the spoiler warning. But if you don't care about Action and just want to hear us talk more about the finale and debate of the finale, then you can check the timestamp for that in the description box. But I'm sure there's going to be some fun thoughts on Action as well.
Absolutely.
I hope so. And then at the end, we can look back on season 5 a little bit, depending on how long we took on our debate from the season 5 finale. Okay. So we are going to be spoiling all of season 5 of Miraculous Ladybug, including the season 5 finale. And we're going to be spoiling the episode Action, which does not have spoilers. To make sure you've seen the season 5 finale. We have not seen the Paris special. We will not be commenting on that yet. Except for, I might say one thing.
Oh, that aired this weekend in France, didn't it?
Yeah. And I know apparently the English version is out, I know. But we need to talk about this first, okay?
Okay.
And at some point in November, or maybe December, we'll talk about the Paris special. Okay. But there might be one little spoiler, because I know, timeline-wise, that does not take place after season 5. So that's kind of the season. Okay. So spoilers for all of season 5 of Miraculous Ladybug. So the topic is Emily or Amelie, right? Is Emily alive at the end? That's what we're going to be talking about. Okay. Action first, though. Like I said, this is it was on the Miraculous YouTube channel. This is a very special episode of Ladybug about plastic pollution. Delaney, did you love it?
It was a good episode. Like, I thought it was a good episode.
That was a much better reaction from you than you had to the Miraculous movie. Is Action better than the Miraculous movie, Delaney?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I would say it's consistent quality. I wasn't okay, part of the problem is, like, Bertrand's, like, villain outfit is so good. Like,
he's the best.
They put so much effort into him. It's great. They're like, we're gonna make this, like, pink, gay, the Colonel plus Doug Dimmadome. Like, that's what they did.
It made me think of King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. He also reminded me of Gideon from Gravity Falls.
He is very Gideon, that's true.
He's very Oh no, I like the episode. Like, it, what I appreciate about it, which one, it's because, like, sometimes Ladybug is like a PSA anyway. Like, I was like, this isn't any different than the episode where they were like, this tower you're making is stupid, save the park. Like, this was not any different. So I think it's kind of funny that we had to have this, like, sponsored episode. But at the same time, this is, like, the perfect show to do it with. So I'm like, it's great. Also, I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. It's like Sunstone in Steven Universe is literally just like an after-school special. Like, that's just her whole personality. So I love that. And so this was great. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Okay. April, are you as positive about Action as Delaney?
I do believe this is an episode of Miraculous Ladybug. Nailed
Confirmed.
It also is not canon. I don't know.
I think it's canon. I think this is canon.
Okay.
It just doesn't take place after season 5, obviously.
It doesn't take place after season 5, which is why.
But it does take place during season 5 because he's specifically Monarch.
So are they dating, or are they, like, almost dating in this episode?
Right.
Yeah.
So so they're probably not. It seems like they're not dating yet, based on the reactions.
But they're, like, really close to dating.
So it's probably like episodes 1 to 10, right? Somewhere in that. Period. Yeah.
Also, yes, learn Mandarin. Yes.
I know, that was very sweet.
That's the most significant part of the episode, right? Is them following up on that from
100%.
the Shanghai special, finally.
But I'm also sad that we didn't see more of that during the rest of the season. Like, that would have been, like, the best way to, if they were going to tie it into the actual season in any way, shape, or form.
For this crucial episode, April.
I'm not upset. They got to give us something, okay?
But I do agree with Delaney that, like, if any show is going to, like, get away with doing something like this, Ladybug is absolutely the show to do it. I loved all of the over dramatic reactions to everything. It was very, it was Ladybug
Like,
in and of
like,
itself.
Fainting was so
yes, I loved it. And we got, it was an episode. I don't know. I don't have any like negative feelings towards it, but I'm not like, yes,
neutral.
I need everyone to watch this episode.
Yeah.
I think people should watch this episode. I think.
Well, yeah, everyone
so that they can learn about plastic pollution.
That, and then also because it's funny.
But I also had questions like, why do you have to get a new fan every single day? Can't you just reuse the first one that you got? Like maybe another day.
People to buy all the designs.
Have you met other humans, April? Have you?
I try. I mean, I've met you guys.
Yeah, we don't count. No, so I mean, I think it's legitimate, especially like, I mean, especially with Paris. I mean, you know, in a tourist, like in a city that tourists. I mean, we also have to talk about, you know, I mean, this hasn't come up in the show at all, but that bridge is in Paris that had all the locks on it, and it was they would fall into the river, and then it was also like damaging the bridge.
Didn't they at one point take like a bunch of them off so people could put new ones on them?
Well, no, they removed them all, and they were like, "Don't do this again."
And people were
and they
like,
put
nah.
like plastic or something up so they can't do it.
Plastic.
Did they really?
Like, I think like there's some sort of like barrier, like it's like somehow that keeps them from being able to do it.
I love that for France.
Plastic is fantastic.
He said it so many times.
Plastic is fantastic.
Where is this southern drawl coming from? They are in Paris.
He's not French. He's like, I am.
Yeah, it seemed like he's an American
cartoon.
No,
that's worse.
But I assume he's supposed to be. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm telling you, he's like gay pink.
I guess
Colonel Sanders. That's what's going on.
The best part of the episode is that Bertrand is voiced by Keith Silverstein, who does Gabriel.
No, he's not.
Yes, I don't know why everyone's surprised. And he sounds.
I love that man so much.
And he's talking to himself in several points in this episode.
Yes. So it's actually like my favorite part. One, they went really hard on his transformation sequence for no reason in this episode, and then
it was great.
They like, it's another classic. I'm gonna make this person mad, and then akumatize them. Like, so annoying.
But he voices him, the guy he's akumatizing. It's so good.
I'm sad because you guys got ads on YouTube during the transformation.
Yes,
and I did not.
For me, it was during Cat Noir's.
Yeah, me too. So I guess it's the same time.
Oh.
I was like, "Excuse you."
I did not get that.
How dare interrupt? How do I know what's going to happen after this on the other side of this transformation sequence?
I know.
Yeah.
Is he going to transform or not?
We've never seen this.
I would have been more mad if it was during Baronets, though. TBH.
Yeah. I definitely did not like this. I mean, as much the second time. It's kind of a hard one to rewatch. But
well, the first time you're watching, you're like, "Oh my god, what's going to happen next?"
I did write down that I kind of love this stupid episode from the first time, and I felt like I was watching season 1 again in like an affectionate way.
Yes.
Which is fun. After season 5, I think like the first 3 minutes of this episode are Nino monologuing about
which is really great.
Plastic pollution. Which is, you know, I mean, Delaney says that it's like not too dissimilar from previous Ladybug environmental messages, but I do think Nino monologuing is beyond what we've seen.
I felt like he was reading a Wikipedia page.
It was rough.
But once we got past that, I do think the episode is pretty fun after that, I will say.
It was kind of fake documentary where they were like, every time you turned a corner, there was a new character. It was really funny.
Yeah. And it's I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's like, obviously this isn't the most important episode or anything, but they snuck in, I think, some interesting things. There's some aspects of the messaging I want to talk about which I thought were good. beyond, just telling us about stuff. But they also snuck in like the Marin and Adrian character moments with the learning Mandarin, which I did think was a huge thing to follow up on. And then the villain, was fun. And it's I do think most of my enjoyment of the episode comes from Keith Silverstein voicing the villain.
It's fair.
But
I also like that they like converted the boat like for no reason.
Yes.
That's that might be my favorite.
Ecological water treatment plant, the boat.
I love it.
Yes.
So
and my favorite part of this episode is that you get the credits at the beginning. Usually it's like directed by Thomas, written by Thomas. This episode, no Thomas. No, it's not. He's not associated with this episode.
Thomas. He's like, I don't have anything to do with this.
Thomas is like, do not blame me for this episode.
Thomas is like, do not put my name on this episode at all.
He's literally, it's the first Ladybug episode
from
of
this episode.
Okay. The message. Do we think that it was successful in what they're trying to say? How did this more, Delaney, do you agree it's more of like a very special episode than Ladybug normally is, and did that work for you?
So I guess I need to preface this, which people might be like, why is Delaney so... I grew up watching Captain Planet, okay? I am about this. Like, this is so good. So I think, yes, I do, especially with Nino monologuing. But I do think, it's a very special episode, but I also think they do a really good job of like still making it an episode of Ladybug.
Yeah.
Which I think other shows have failed to do when they do stuff like this. And again, like Ladybug, this is the perfect show to do something like this because this is something that's already baked into the show.
Yeah. And by the way, when I say a very special episode, we're referencing those like 80s shows where there's like, this is an episode on this social thing that's happening in the whole episode.
Except we used to have entire shows that would be dedicated to it.
Like Captain Planet.
And then Captain Planet talks to the camera.
Or like at the end of G.I. Joe, how there would be like that, those short like 2-3 minute little sketches, which then got dubbed over.
I feel like I did watch some G.I. Joe. I haven't thought of that.
I watched G.I. Joe.
Since 15
G.I. Joe's great. I watched so much G.I. Joe.
I had not thought of that once since I was a kid, April. Somehow that had never come up on this animation podcast. This has not come up.
Even like Transformers would do it.
Oh, Transformers did it a lot. I feel
like.
Who knew the robots from space had so much to say about the Earth?
Saving the planet.
Who knew our DJ guy had so much to say about the Earth? Yeah, why don't Ivan or Mylene get to be the Nino role?
Mylene should have got to have like her 25-minute speech. Like that's what she deserved.
They needed her to be very dramatic, and she did that.
She was just exhausted. She is so tired of doing all this work.
Yeah. April, what did you think of the messaging?
It sounds so bad because I know that it has a really good message, but I feel like the message was also kind of like lost in the zaniness for me.
That's fair.
Which is why like I'm like, this is an episode of Ladybug because we've had other episodes where they've sort of like snuck in like these, little messages and things like that. And this one, it just happened to be like the forefront or like the plot was centered around it. But it felt like it was just very Ladybug. Like it was like a Ladybug way of like trying to get a message across. And I liked it. I thought it was nicely delivered, even if it was a little lost on me at some point.
I think it's also easy to take for granted, like the three of us are adults. And I don't know. For me, it's hard. Like I want to ask a kid what they thought about this.
Yes, I was really because
I would say the three of us are pretty well aware of plastic pollution and like everything we eat has microplastics and that kind of stuff. And like the garbage patch in the ocean that's literally the size of France. Like I think,
and like our clothing has plastic in it.
Yes.
Like, I learned that from Nino this episode.
I tried to like sneakily get like an opinion from my I'm gonna call her a friend because her kids love Ladybug and they call me the Ladybug lady, and I was like, that's cute.
That's so good.
Well, because like she waxes my eyebrows. Okay. And so she tells her kids, yeah, so they're like the Ladybug lady. And she's like, great, who are you guys talking about? They're like, your one client. She's like, oh, April. Okay. But so I sent her like the YouTube link so that her and her kids could watch it. And I was really hoping like to hear their feedback too. Cause I was like, oh, that, it'd be good to like and refreshing for us to hear it at some point, because you're right, like we are adults.
Yeah, Bo's gonna survey children about this. Got it.
Yeah, and she's just like, all it did was make them want to watch the Ladybug movie for like the 12th time.
Oh no.
And she's like, and I swear, every time they watch it, they think something new is gonna happen.
The magic of television.
Yeah, that's something you don't hear on this animation podcast. Is most adults who are parents is like experiences with animation is watching the Disney movies over and over. Apparently, the Ladybug movie.
Oh yeah, her kids love it. They're hyped for it.
It has songs. I feel like if it has songs, it's more rewatchable.
They have also asked me if I can make Ladybug come back on TV sooner, and I said I'll do what I can.
Look, we have a direct line to Thomas via this podcast.
She told them that, and I was like, you can't just go around telling people.
You can't out our secret Thomas phone line here.
Our best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Powerpuff Girls. We have like our red Thomas phone.
You know how much we would abuse that though.
All the time.
He would immediately regret giving us
most relevantly, I think, for the second discussion,
he would block us like so fast. It wouldn't even like he'd be like,
nope. Be like, you can be unblocked when.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my the most insightful thing I have to say about action, about the commentary. I thought so the Nino stuff, whatever. I mean, it's not directed at us, so what? It's like we're being overt for people that don't know about it, including kids. I thought the actual like insightful aspect of the commentary was the anti-capitalist parts of the episode.
Yes.
Which you don't necessarily expect Ladybug to be super anti-capitalist. It's generally like progressive within a Western capitalist lens, but there were several moments in this episode I thought it had its environmental commentary through, let's not even necessarily anti-capitalist, but capitalist critical lens of in the plastic is fantastic guy Bertrand. He says he won't stop making plastic because it makes him more money. We phrased it around that. Like, it's a good thing that people reuse it because it makes me more money. Kind of an obvious point, but I think it's like to me that comes across. Now maybe this is just my internet progressive kind of mind, but to me that comes across as like much more intelligent than just saying stop throwing plastic in the ocean, which is more obvious. But then also they go to Nadia to get the report on the news, and she says we can't put this on the this Bertrand criticism on the news because he's a big advertiser for us, which I think even less obvious than the more plastic, more money. Advertising in influence on the media. I thought that was really insightful, cutting, etc.
I mean, she literally was like, "I wouldn't have a job."
Yeah.
So I think that's way less obvious than the just don't throw away plastic. And then also they go to the guy to find out who the random delivery guy, to find out who Bertrand is. He talks about he's on top of the social ladder in the big skyscraper. So again, referencing kind of
like big corporation
inequality and dynamic.
So it was really funny because we never see those giant buildings, and then for no reason they're like, "Here's the one skyscraper," and
it's purposeful. It comes across as really ugly because we're used to the beautiful Paris. So I think that's definitely what they're going for. So I was impressed with them managing to sneak in relevant and felt very truthful kind of economic messages within this more broad environmental point that they're going for.
Well, and I like too that we also, got her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That they were like, yeah, we do use all this, as seeing its effect on even like a small business. And then they changed all the stuff at the end. That's good.
I think that's kind of what made the message sort of, I don't know, like hit home a little bit, but just because like everybody's guilty of using plastics, including like Marinette's parents, who are the best people in the world. So
yeah, but also clear like who's ultimately responsible, as we definitely hammer home. this one guy. I guess we could have gone farther and been like, what about his board members, stuff like that. But yeah,
got to do it for the shareholders.
Yeah. But the CEO being the villain's pretty good.
Yeah.
Plastic is fantastic. I don't know. I don't think I'm getting better.
I also like that he was trapped in the garbage at the end. It was good stuff.
That was good. I laughed every time I heard plastic is fantastic.
So
he says.
Okay, so I have a question. So
Yes.
is it like just sometimes you can use venom whenever you want? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Don't make me think about this, please.
I was like, what?
We're about to think about one of the most exhausting Ladybug things that's ever happened. I can't with the mechanics of the hero powers right now.
It had to be brought up. That's all.
This episode did make me even annoyed at the episode titles this season. It's like, we'll give you the power of action, which is just venom. I don't like, I don't care about all that.
Important announcement. Delaney collects the little mystery box Kwamis, and I finally got Roar. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, I guess you're reminded because we talked about pollen. Okay, yeah.
Yes, I love Roar.
I
also got another little figure, and it's funnily enough, I got Nino as Carapace.
Delaney, what material are those figures made out of?
They're plastic.
Plastic?
Oh, no!
What? How ironic that Ladybug creates all this plastic
I
merchandise,
so many of them.
mass produces all this merchandise, and sells it.
They are packaged in cardboard.
Okay. Does it come in a little like plastic like holder in addition to being
so it's in a cardboard box.
Yeah.
And in a plastic bag because people are gremlins and they break into gotcha boxes. But then it's just like, then it's just the toy.
Okay. I do think that's kind of funny to point out though that Zag it goes heavy on the merchandise, including cheap plastics.
It's true.
Yeah.
They do.
Okay. We mentioned he akumatizes himself. He akumatizes the guy who's also voiced by him. And he also says, I'm afraid Gabriel Grest is unavailable at the moment.
I was so mad at him. I was like, you're so annoying.
That was the best line.
So annoying.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it really just felt like we're back in season 2 with the Fly My Akuma, right? And he antagonizes the guy he's akumatizing. That's true beauty, is
when we get back to our roots.
Gabriel
Purposefully angering
You know
people.
what? Now I'm sad. He's never gonna akumatize anyone ever again.
Aw,
don't worry, Delaney. He'll be back in the Paris special.
Who's gonna akumatize the baby? Like who's gonna be there?
It won't hit the same when Lila akumatizes the baby.
It won't.
Stop.
Or Cerise, or or Tomoe, obviously. I don't think it'll hit the same.
I'm totally down with Tomoe being the villain.
Yeah, but when she akumatizes, she needs her own gimmick. Not
Can
just
Tomoe just like drop kick Lila into a pit?
Tomoe can't be the villain because she'll be so competent. It'd be over. End of Ladybug.
Yeah. Okay. Other things I wrote down. Gabriel as Monarch. And was it jarring to see him back after he just died?
No.
A little bit.
I said, how am I supposed to mourn Gabriel when he's alive?
So dramatic. That it didn't faze me.
My immediate thought was, so there's no consequences of this episode.
Yeah, no, definitely not. At the end of the episode, they say, this is absolutely miraculous.
Oh, I was like, really? Big eye roll.
And then I wrote down, why isn't there an ominous post-credit scene in this episode?
Yeah, okay, I was waiting for one. I was like,
we've been so conditioned by season 5.
I was waiting. I was like, hello?
And
Where's my post-credit scene?
Where's my post-credit scene where Bertrand says, actually, I'm going to make even more plastic now.
Or like Gabriel saying, like, I'm going to get you next time, Ladybug.
Yeah. The only plastic you'll be experiencing, Ladybug, is the plastic cage I'm gonna drop on top of you in Looney Tunes style in order to take your miraculouses.
I almost snorted Mountain Dew out my nose. That's not where I thought you were going.
I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah, I was waiting for straws. It. Like I could see the straws just moving further and further away from you. Like you're reaching for them, and they're like, nope.
You're like, I'm so close, but so far away.
So far. No, I was like, Dylan dug a hole. How much deeper?
Ladybug, you won't need plastic anymore because I'll be pulling wool over your eyes instead.
That's what it would be.
I thought you were going to say something like, you won't be needing plastic anymore because you'll be turned to dust. Ha ha ha.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
that's another good one.
I mean, they're not good, but they sound like they could be good.
Yeah,
like they're
like he's still workshopping them. Okay,
okay, that's we should
for the Paris special.
This is why we didn't get this. Or he's like, oh, I'm going to recycle the Miraculous.
Oh yes. He did recycle the Miraculouses. What a good patron of the environment. Like he repurposed them.
Honestly, Adrian should have just thrown something at her when he was like, it was nice talking to you. Like, oh my God, I'm going to come over there and stick your stupid little stand over you butt.
It would be so funny if he does have one of those post-credit scenes in the Paris special. Because everyone knows that, knowing that it airs after the season. Get one last one in.
That'd be real good.
Do it, please.
Don't spoil us. Please don't spoil us.
Please don't.
No, don't
That's the only thing
it.
we have to look forward to, is whether Monarch has any sassy lines.
Oh, that's another thing. Speaking of the Paris special, I liked that we keep bringing it. Maybe it was kind of foreshadowing for the finale. Like they brought in. We got to go to New York, and
we see the New York and Shanghai heroes. Yes.
Also, like I know it's because she's like an important character, but I'm like the scary, uncanny robot girl. Like,
oh, so sad.
So scary. I'm like, you gotta let Blink. Like, come on.
It is funny that we go to them for the first time since the finales, for the first time since their specials. I guess they're appearing all the time now.
Throwing things away.
Delaney, any other action comments?
How did they fix the boat sinking?
The Miraculous Ladybug.
No.
The first time? I guess they just turned it off the first time. Yeah.
Look. I got the second time. It was the magical ladybug. Okay,
I do like when they include in the plan the magic ladybugs.
They're like,
I love that.
I also like that Cat Noir was like, I want to break it. Like, are you for real?
He was ready for it. He was like, yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. April, any last thoughts on action?
No.
Okay. Are we ready to move on to the big debate that I don't think either you have been super privy to until I put it on the outline, so April might have seen now, but Delaney might be fresh on this. Okay, let's previously on the Overly Animated podcast.
Previously on Avatar.
Yeah. Who would do previously on Ladybug? It should be Gabriel, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
But it would end up being like Tiki or Plog. They would switch off every episode.
It's Plog from the movie. It's like previously on Ladybug. Like that's yeah.
Oh. That.
Okay, so we had our finale podcast, and there's a moment when I'm like, is there any confusion that this is Emily alive at the end of the season 5 finale? And you guys said, no, we think it's Emily. Is that correct?
Yes.
I do remember that.
And that's basically all we talked about it.
And then the internet was like, you're wrong, stupid.
Yeah, I don't think people are like, you're wrong, but they're like, have you considered this? And so basically we did the podcast. I like asked for any relevant information because we were no spoilered, and I was like head down, not seeing anything. So I didn't know this debate was happening.
Right.
And so I didn't really catch up enough on what was happening before we talked about the finale. And then we publish it, and I'm like, okay, I guess some people thought it was. I'd heard that some people thought it was Amelie, but I thought it was just stupid, so I didn't really think about it that much.
You're like, no,
I disregard this.
So I just did the podcast, and we brushed over it. And then Thomas replies to us.
I remember.
And we'll get to what he says. But basically, I'm like, oh no, did I get this really wrong on the podcast? Because I actually really hate getting things wrong on the podcast. It really upsets me. So I was pretty upset over the possibility that we missed this huge thing. Not but we just didn't talk about it enough.
I've been waiting for this, Dylan.
So I was pretty upset. That being said, I like how our season 5 finale podcast functions as a uninfluenced reaction to the finale. That is just our without seeing the online debate, that was just our genuine reaction, and there's proof that none of us had any doubt that Emily was alive.
Yep.
Yep. I will give some doubt now, but like that's
it's
the
not
most
our
important
fault they're
thing.
twins, and they look the same.
The most important
That's
thing
true.
is that we thought that Emily was alive watching it. Okay,
We really did.
Okay, so here's Thomas's tweet. In reply to our podcast, he says, "Quote: Maybe the wish is more complicated." Quote, which I guess is something we said in the podcast.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite, guys. Keep it simple. Maybe after a few more rewatch, you'll finally get it. Thanks for just dissecting us during these 5 seasons. Thank you, Thomas. Yes, we're here to dissect everything, Thomas, and keep it. So the thing is, I don't know exactly what he's quoting here. Maybe the wish is more complicated, because it could have a context of like, maybe there's a deeper explanation as to why, Natalie is alive in addition to Emily, right? It could just be because that's what we said. Like maybe the wish is more complicated. We didn't know why Natalie is also alive in addition to Emily. So maybe he is referencing that there's a simple explanation as to why Natalie and Emily are alive.
Yeah.
Or maybe the wish is more complicated means, and this is what I thought, I said, there can't possibly be a simple wish that explains why Natalie is also alive. Therefore, since he says keep it simple, he's saying that Emily isn't actually alive at the end.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been sitting on this, and I've rewatched the finale.
Okay, I want to hear your opinions, April. But there's a lot on different sides. But so I don't think he's trying. And for context, Thomas has not said whether Emily is alive or not.
No, he hasn't.
He has replied many times to people. He doesn't want to say who it is. He replied to us that the wish is simple. I think so ultimately, is Thomas trying to tell us whether Emily is alive or not? I don't think so. I don't think he wants to give that away. I think the biggest thing he's conveying here is that the wish is simple. And that's in line with what he's replied to other people who've tried to suggest more complicated wishes that Monarch could have been wishing for. And he says, no, it's a simple wish. It doesn't fit the equivalent exchange rule. He says that a lot. So
I do think I know what the wish is.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, Delaney, I think there's a lot more here than you're anticipating. There's a lot of evidence on both sides. Okay. And the other major thing Thomas has said that I want to get out there is there's a tweet he replied in French to someone. So someone tweeted, let me translate again. Is Emily alive? It could change a lot of things. And Thomas replied, in particular, brackets implied it could change the end bracket, the whole message of these 5 seasons, a detail indeed. So Thomas implying that whether Emily is alive or not, should be within the message of the show, which I think is important. So if Emily being alive reflects the show's messaging, the show's themes, that's my assumption is what he means there.
Emily's dead.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that, but basically Ladybug's all about preserving the natural order and balance of things. So
and bringing someone back from the dead is like number one. You can't do that. So
if Thomas is saying whether Emily is alive or not is reflective of the show's themes of balance, you would think she's not alive.
Yes.
But it's not like we didn't consider that. It's just that this is Gabriel making the wish. He doesn't have to be reflective of the themes of the show.
Yeah. But at the same time, and I think I know that we had said it a lot, is that it's such an odd thing that Gabriel would the villain Monarch would get away with it in the end. And so I think maybe that's part of that changing the message, because if Emily is alive, then yes, that means that the villain, through all of their terribleness, got what they wanted in the end. But if Emily is not alive, then that means that in some part Monarch didn't get what he wanted.
I think he didn't get what he wanted anyway because he's dead.
I think what I think happened is that, when we talked about it, Marinette got through to him. And I think ultimately what he wished for was for him and Emily to be together again.
Yes. Okay. Let me give that interpretation.
I was gonna say I have another simple version of something.
We'll go through possible wishes. I just want to say there's a lot more evidence here than you guys are probably anticipating. But so let's keep an open mind as we go through things. One thing I want to preface this: whether or not that is Emily in the epilogue, that could be Amelie instead of Emily, and Emily could still be alive. Okay. That's fine.
That's true. Yeah.
That could be, right? So just because it's people are trying to analyze the colors of the outfit doesn't really matter.
God, that is no, y'all, please.
Okay. Here's the alternate interpretation that I've seen some people on our Discord say. I didn't consider this exactly because my big thing is like Emily floats out of her dead wife coffin. Clearly,
not alive.
She's something's happening with her. Here's the alternate interpretation. Emily is floating out of the coffin to join Gabriel in the ever after, in death. So Gabriel wishes, as Delaney said, to join her, to be with Emily. So they are going to be joined in death and in the great beyond, and in exchange, Natalie will be revived.
So that's my theory. Now Natalie isn't a part of the wish, but like that, I think Natalie is just.
Well, what are they wishing for? What's he wishing for? To be with his wife?
I think his wish is for him and Emily to be together again, and that's it. That's the end of the wish.
And I guess that would be a balanced wish. Well, yeah. I mean,
at this point, I'm beginning to think Natalie just miraculously recovered, or it just happens to be magical collateral, like whatever.
So what I think is that because Marinette has the whole thing about, because she brings up Adrian a lot, right? And so I think that one potential interpretation would be that he wishes to make sure Adrian is cared for after he goes.
Okay. Which would heal Natalie.
Which would then heal Natalie because she's the only other person who could take care of him or is within that circle, that
in
immediate
exchange
circle.
for his life. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because she was also dying.
The way the show frames the wishes is, I wish for this to happen, and in exchange, I give up this. So there needs to be like a thing for a thing. But I actually like Delaney's interpretation that it's like implied the thing for the thing. I think that's honestly cleaner. But let's keep in mind throughout all this, Thomas's reply to us: keep it simple. Thomas wants this to be a simple wish.
Wish, heal Natalie. What are you giving up for that? My life.
Right. So that's what I thought when I saw Thomas's tweet. I thought he was implying, revive Natalie, he dies.
Yep.
So Emily's not alive.
That's like my second, like the one that like makes my heart smile is like, oh, make sure Adrian's cared for.
I like that. Yeah.
But if we're keeping it simple and clean, then great. The wish was heal Natalie, revive her.
I guess here's the thing: is any sort of like thematic wishes, like you guys have suggested, it's not like what's the point, because the show didn't say it. So it's not like we'll ever get like the like warm fuzzy. Oh, he wished for.
We're not gonna get the flashback.
And I will say the show could be intentionally keeping the wish vague in order to follow up on it in season 6, and that might be why Thomas doesn't want to talk about it. And if so, I think that's totally good. Because if the intent is to follow up on this, I think he shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
But if they're never going to mention again, I do wish he would just tell us what it was. But we'll come back to that. Okay. So we presented. So what our initial interpretation is, Emily's alive because she rises out of the friggin' coffin, and
but when you
there's a gold. So I mean, I've watched it from both lenses. So Natalie rises out of the thing. Gabriel rises up, light circles around them, and then goes out from there, right? So 2 potential interpretations. One, that is the exchange that's being made, which is what we all thought the first time. Emily's coming alive, Gabriel sacrificing himself. That's why they're both rising out. I think that makes sense. Or what if that is the cost of that is like the price of the wish, is Emily and Gabriel. So that's why they're enveloped in the light. That's the price of the wish, and then it goes bigger, and then the new world is the result of the wish. I think both are potentially valid. I don't think that we have an answer.
They're both half dead, so then they can together. It will.
Yeah, because they also never really say that Emily is dead. Like they never outright say it, so she could just be in like a coma or a stasis.
Well, okay, here's my two biggest pieces of evidence against, not really biggest, but two big pieces of evidence against Emily not being alive. Emily has to be alive. One, I don't think that it's, I think in fact, April, Emily is alive. I know we call her the dead wife garden, but I think the show purposefully is that she's in a coma or in this state of suspended animation.
Because why would it be important that her tube stays on?
They specifically do that in the finale because Marinette ends up winning by threatening the
So
coffin.
I think that makes sense though.
So she's definitely alive in some fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, why would Gabriel make a wish that kills his wife?
Because
she's not
he
dead.
Can't be with her. Because if
he's about to be dead, he is dead. He's basically dead.
Yeah, he's basically
dead. Look, he's sacrificing himself. That's wonderful. He's not going to sacrifice his wife. That's so against everything he's stood for.
Which is why I feel like the make sure Adrian's taken care of. I mean, I know
result
it's like
in them both being alive. Yeah.
Well, but if we're talking about a balance, if she's half alive and he's half alive, and we need a full life to revive Natalie, then we're making it complicated.
Yeah, but in that scenario, he is sacrificing Emily in addition to him in order to revive Natalie.
Yeah, because she's basically dead anyway. And
I know she's basically dead, but he's his entire last few years of his life have been to bring Emily back, and not only is he not going to try to do that anymore, he's going to kill her just because Ladybug talked to him.
Yeah.
I think that's why. And I don't think people are thinking about this enough when they say that Emily isn't alive, because if the alternative to Emily being alive at the end is that she's dead now, and she wasn't dead before the finale. I know we say she was dead, but she wasn't dead.
But then the only other alternative to make it make more sense is that she hasn't been alive and they've just been preserving her dead body.
Right. So unless it's like she's basically dead, she's just being preserved. Yeah, sure.
Because then, like, if she's basically dead, then it doesn't, like...
Because then he's, like, giving up on bringing her back and not killing her.
And and not killing her, which, I mean, then we can say he's good guy Gabe.
And it's ambiguous enough exactly what her state is that could be true. So I agree. Yeah. This isn't a definitive smoking gun, but I think that unless Natalie was, like, basically just actually dead and he's, like, cryogenically freezing her, just for the offshoot he can bring her back to preserve her body. Unless that is true, which it could be.
Yes, we've always called it the dead wife garden, and that's been like our thing. But I feel like in the back of my mind, it's always been like maybe she's actually dead in some kind of preservation stasis, but she could potentially just be like chilling in there, because they do make it a point to emphasize how important it is that the tube stays on or powered. Yeah. But that would explain could be an explanation for both ways. Like, she's either dead, they're preserving her body, or she's basically dead and they're keeping her alive / preserving her. So
yeah. Delaney, what do you think of this?
I mean, it's hard to know just because she's just been in that whatever the whole time.
Yeah. But
and,
I think
that kind of brings up more questions.
Yeah.
We need to know her state. The only thing else, so the conclusion to this I'll say is, like, Emily can't have been in a coma and be dead now. I think that's bad. I think that's really bad. I just don't think that makes sense that Gabriel would kill her. So she would have to have definitely be dead already and being preserved, which is possible.
I think that's how I'm going to continue, unless you absolutely change my mind.
He's probably in a coffin.
Yeah.
I think I'll change your minds back to that she's alive. I think she's alive, by the way, Emily. So all of this is doubt, but let's
I don't think she's alive either.
I don't think.
Okay, I'll convince you guys back. How about this big piece of evidence?
Okay.
That Sarah noticed. This is potentially another smoking gun. That scene at the end that I love, where Marinette and Adrian are sitting where Marinette gives Adrian the rings back, and says, I feel so free. That it was the former site of a statue of Emily.
Oh.
A statue of Emily used to be in that location that they are now sitting. And it is gone at the end. Which is kind of wild.
Interesting. That's weird.
So, if you want to use this in support of Emily being alive, if Emily is dead, why would they remove the statue?
I would.
Isn't that disrespectful?
Or they decided that it would be better to have some type of memoriam in the home.
Yeah, maybe they moved it. I
was going to say, it's possible that they got rid of it so that they could have one of Emily and Gabriel together.
Okay.
And it's just somewhere else in
addition to the giant Gabriel statue outside.
Yes.
I think the alternate interpretation is that Marinette says a lot to Gabriel during those final battle that Adrian has moved on. He's trying to move on. So maybe moving on entails getting rid of the Emily statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sucks because moving on from someone doesn't mean killing a memoriam of them, in my opinion.
No, but that was never just it was a statue of her, but if you think about it, Gabriel was kind of obsessed with her, pictures of her everywhere, statue of her. So, when Marinette says, Adrian's moved on, it's that he's not obsessing over her, the fact that she's lost, she's gone anymore. But not that he wouldn't, still mourn her and, and feel that grief. But I'm sure they've found healthier ways to do so than being constantly, having it constantly in your face,
Right. I think that they could follow up on this and they could explain why it's removed and why that makes sense when she's dead now.
Well, they have that nice pool there now. Can't have that statue.
Nice pool. Yeah, they have the pool. Now that it's a fun house instead of
it's a fun house.
Depressing mansion.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing to keep in mind with this statue is what's the intent of the show by placing this climactic scene with Marin and Adrian in the former location of Emily. And I think that it's either it's a sign that she's back now because she's gone, or it's a sign that they've moved on because it's not there anymore and we're not thinking about her anymore. So I think these are potential interpretations, but similar to the Emily being Gabriel can't kill Emily with the wish thing. I just think it's a stretch on top of a stretch to be we got rid of the statue because we're moving on from her. To me, that's it's a niche thing, I feel the more obvious explanation is no big statue of her anymore because she's alive now, and that would be weird. To me, that seems more natural.
See, I just am they might have moved the statues.
Right,
to
we could
pool.
follow up on it. It's not right next to the pool. I think it's a little bit off.
Yeah, but you can't just have the random statue by the pool. That's dangerous. Kids be trying to climb all over and jump into the pool. No.
Fang climbing all over the statue.
Yeah.
Okay, so more evidence from the episodes. I just wanted to put the quotes from the episode because Thomas is maybe if you watch it more, you'll figure it out. So, okay, let's go over what they actually say in the episode. Let's see if we can see what Thomas is talking about. Ladybug says, "Your wife come back? Kagami and Adrian, eternal icons? How many lives are you going to ruin in the name of your crazy dream?" So this is all kind of evidence in support of potentially the show is thematically trying to say Emily can't come back. Ladybug's it's a crazy dream for her to come back. She says Adrian's moved on. Emily wanted Adrian to be happy and Emily says, "Don't bring me back." That's a big part of the interpretation that Emily isn't alive. Emily says, "Don't bring me back." But she says, "Don't bring me back," because no one should have to have their life stolen for the mistake that we made. So you could say, oh, why is Gabriel not going to listen to her when he finally is seeing reason? He's not going to bring her back. He's seeing reason now. Well, what she said was, "Don't bring me back because someone else would have to die for us."
But if he dies,
then he is listening to her. I think that's the alternate interpretation.
Yeah.
And I think that just makes sense. It's Gabriel sacrificing himself. If he can sacrifice himself and Emily and Natalie get to be alive, then obviously he should do that. I don't think it's Like, personally, I don't agree with the show that, like, Emily being alive would be some cosmic disturbance that would be so morally terrible. Like, that's a person that's alive that wasn't alive before.
Well,
you know?
and if you think about it in terms of, like, a simple wish that has essentially the least amount of consequences on the world that they currently live in. And so that's why, like, heal Natalie makes sense to me, because, like,
I do think Natalie is part of the wish, to validate what you're saying. Like, because Thomas is saying, I feel like Thomas is responding to us trying to figure out how Natalie fits in, and he's saying it's a simple explanation.
Yeah.
It implied for why Natalie is alive. That's what I took from what he was saying. So I do think Natalie is part of the wish. I agree.
Yeah. So that's, like, it, for me, it just clicks more in whenever, like, because when Thomas said, like, it's more simple than we think it is, I'm like, okay, you're right. Like,
right,
now,
like if number one, Natalie is part of the wish, number two, the wish is simple, then by far the easiest explanation is Natalie's alive, Gabriel's dead. That's the wish. I understand the appeal of that. I totally understand that.
Because then, like, then it could lead to the more romantic interpretations of the wish, like, yes, like, I will sacrifice myself so Natalie can be alive, so that Adrian is taken care of, and I can be reunited with my love in the afterlife. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's personally. I don't think it's romantic for him to finish off his wife. But maybe I'm stuck on that.
And I think that's why, like, it's easy. I say it's easier for me to accept. Not that it's correct. I could be wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong.
No, we don't know. The problem is Thomas won't say.
Yeah, well, but
the biggest problem is the show made it ambiguous, right? And it did not tell us what the wish was.
And now,
and she has an identical twin. Like, how?
And she has an identical twin. If she didn't have an identical twin, this would be different.
Either way, we would know one way or the other. And then they do say they want Adrian not to be alone, Ladybug, and so I think that feels what April's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other part of it too is that, and it must have been a lot for Gabriel to hear his greatest enemy, the person who's been stopping him, to say to him exactly what his wife said as well. Like that, like, so in my interpretation of everything, that was probably like a clicking moment. And yeah, it doesn't look good that he then turns around, steals the Miraculouses, but that's like
a fade. That's like he's like that's a mislead.
Yeah, it's like a mislead. He's like, okay, I agree, but I still need to make a wish.
Clearly something clicked. Something clicked for Gabriel, right? But we thought when we watched it for the first time that what clicked was he needs to sacrifice himself instead of a random person.
Yes.
But it also could have clicked that he doesn't want to bring his wife back. That's also possible.
Yeah, and that he just wants Adrian to not be alone.
Which, like, if Emily is back, Adrian's not alone. That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, like, again, if... Gotta keep it simple.
I do think they talked a lot about moving on when you try to focus on what they're saying. That is notable. Other things, Monarch says, in order to bring Emily back, someone else will have to disappear.
I mean,
in order to heal the wounds that Cat Noir inflicted on me, someone else will have to be wounded. So that's kind of wish rule stuff. And then Gabriel then says, there's only one thing I wish to change, which is interesting.
No.
Only one thing.
No, wait, hold on. That just clicked so much for me.
Yes.
Because he was very specific in saying, in order to bring Emily back, someone will have to disappear. In order to heal the wound that Cat Noir inflicted on me, someone else will have to be wounded. So... him and Natalie are in basically the same kind of state. They're both on the verge of death, right? Yeah. So if he's like, in order to heal Natalie's wounds from the Miraculous, he would just have to absorb that and then be fully dead.
Right. I think that, to me, that's not the same thing as what he said. I think when you try to get it, like, Thomas is like, oh, it's simple. Here's the thing. What is the value of a person who's about to die in terms of this wish? Like, I don't think it's so simple. Is Monarch's life equivalent to a full life? Is he equivalent to half a life? Like, it doesn't, I don't think it really makes sense what, in terms of what it would take to bring Natalie back. I don't know. Does it take a full person dying, or does it take someone getting injured? Like he says here, he says, in order to heal the wound on me, someone else will have to be wounded. So in theory, if for Natalie to be healed, it's not like he has to die, just someone would have to be wounded.
Well, if he takes on that wound, because it.
But like, so if he takes on a wound in his already wounded state, then he's dead. I get that, but isn't that not simple? Aren't we going beyond the realm of simple once you get to that?
That feels pretty simple to me, because more or less, that him and Natalie, like, they're like the same person when it comes to how much life they have, right? So if you're just exchanging her life for a hit, or
I guess the counter to that is, if they're both almost dead, then it should take more than just it should take more than just another almost dead person in order to bring you back from almost dead. It should take like a almost alive, but it should take a 90% healthy person instead of a 10%.
But if you think of it much more simply and go for a 1-for-1 situation, then if you sacrifice, like it basically boils down to like one person being alive and one person being dead.
It feels like a clean exchange. Yeah, I agree.
Like it feels very, very clean to me.
I just don't. I mean, once you think about it more, I just don't agree. If that is the explanation with that Tom, that if that is what happened, that I don't agree that that's so simple, like Thomas says. But it also doesn't need to be so simple. It's just that we're taking this from a tweet.
I'm taking Thomas for his word, and I'm writing on it. Keep it simple.
Yeah. So there's only one thing that I wish to change. That is interesting. One thing I wish to change. So it's not like he's not wishing for both Emily and Natalie to be back. Maybe he's wishing for Adrian to not be alone, which makes sense with what they were talking about before. And if he's wishing for Adrian to not be alone, that could mean just Natalie's back. It could mean both of them are back. So that doesn't really answer it.
I was going to say, if you really want to complicate it, then in theory, neither of them could have been healed, and because he wouldn't be alone, he would still have like Marinette and all of his friends.
Yeah, that's true. I wish for he actually wished for Marinette and Adrian to be together forever. That was his ultimate shipper. The ultimate shipper wish. Yeah. Okay, here's I said the two biggest evidence. I think the biggest piece of evidence as to why Emily's alive is very simply what was our reaction to the finale? You know, I think that this finale wants you to think Emily is alive at the end, and therefore either Emily is alive or they're purposefully like doing a twist, because we see Emily rise out of the coffin. You see, you're primed to think that he's trying to bring Emily back. And then we see that actually he's going to sacrifice himself. And then we see Emily rise out of the coffin. So it seems like what is happening, and this is what all of us thought was happening the first time, right? Is that they're trading. It's just what seems like what's happening when you watch it. And then in the epilogue, we get to see like, oh, okay, here's this person. Music swells and her head turns around and it's someone that looks like Emily, right? That's like a big It's like, it feels like a reveal in the epilogue that person is Emily. It feels like if it's Amelie, then that doesn't make sense. So either it's a reveal and that's Emily, the simple, like the most straightforward explanation, or it's a twist and like they're like misleading us.
I think it's a twist, because I think that if they really wanted to drive home the message that Emily was being revived, then it would have been in that moment when she came rising out of the coffin, like her eyes would have opened, something along those lines.
They definitely could have made it more obvious. I agree.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think that in not doing that, then
I think what you're saying is like, that's evidence for this supposed to be ambiguous at least.
Yeah. Because then, I mean, yes, but I feel like if you're trying to, I mean, yes, okay.
Right, like I think I guess what I'm saying is I think the show leads you to believe this is Emily in that moment. So some people say, no, it's not obvious it's Emily because Felix is in the scene, is like a few seconds before. I understand Felix being there means Amelie could be at the pool party. And like I said, just because Amelie's there Doesn't mean Emily's not alive elsewhere. That being said, I'm just talking, you need to like, people just get so like in the weeds with this stuff when they talk about it online. Like,
yes.
What is the episode presenting? Like, she turns her head and the music swells, you know, like that's not like, that doesn't make sense if it's Amelie, unless it's supposed to be misleading.
Well, so and that's why, the devil's in the details with this show sometimes. And so that's why I'm like, you would have given us more evidence, like even just the littlest detail, like I said, a finger twitching, anything along those lines would have showed that even exchange. And I think that it could be an even exchange, you know, Gabriel for Emily in that moment when they both rise up. But it just seems more like a very dramatic way of just like, hey, I'm accepting the end, and we're kind of situation.
I feel like if I understand that like we could have made this more obvious, and that is like counters to what I'm saying, that the biggest reason to believe Emily's alive is just because that's what the episode makes you believe. But if you're going to believe that Emily isn't alive, I feel like you need to like read us, like, and you need to think about it. And so that's like even less obvious, you know, like it's not like we misinterpreted this. It's like, this could be intentionally misleading for like narrative purposes, but that is also like not obvious. Like that requires a lot of thought. I know it seems obvious once we talk about things like when Thomas tweets that it's simple, and we like, oh, that's a reason why Natalie's alive. But it's like nothing is obvious about actually Emily was rising out of the coffin in order for her to join Gabriel in death, and she's not back, even though someone that looks like her is present, you know, less than a minute later. I feel like that's even less obvious. But it is true that the show could present it in a clear way. Here's a question. Why didn't the show present it in a clear way? We don't know. It could be that there's a version of this that this finale that would have happened if the show did not get renewed for seasons 6 and 7. So it is possible that this is the pivot in order to prolong the show, that they were kind of like making a potential ending. The shows have to do this all the time, a potential series finale that also could continue the show. So it's possible that what we're seeing is slightly different than what was originally written. So that could be a reason why it's ambiguous like this.
I think that's...
I don't think it's like a good reason, but, you know, production reasons could yeah. Okay. Before we get into the last thing of like some good potential exact wishes, Delaney, where are you at after hearing all of this?
The thing is, there's good evidence on both sides. And so I was like, so, you know, when I watched the episode, I was like, Emily's back and I'm mad about it. And then, you know, other stuff. And then I was like, no, I don't think she's back. Because I'm really stuck on like that message from Thomas about like, you know, what the show's been about. And bringing Emily back is against what the show is about.
Yeah.
But
yeah. With
the added evidence of the statue being gone and what you were saying about, you know, we watched it and we were like, Emily's back. You know, it's, you know, we can talk all we want, but like we saw it with our own eyes. Like what did the episode, and you know, my thing is, so we watched the episode and let's say Emily's not back, then I would say this would reinforce to me that the finale like failed spectacularly.
Which is true.
If Emily is not back.
Yeah, I agree with that. It makes the finale a lot worse.
Yeah, because like what was if you can't communicate what happens, like, and that's the thing, it doesn't feel like, you know, a cliffhanger. It doesn't feel like it's supposed to be a mystery.
Right. We didn't interpret it as a mystery. We're only thinking about that now because we are on a podcast that overanalyzes it. Yeah.
Yes. And because there were so many other people who were like, no, it was Amelie.
And I think most importantly, like you said, the biggest reason I feel like that in this discussion, why we think Emily isn't alive is the tweets from Thomas. Like, I think it's the tweets that make you think it's not her. And
now granted, if, you know, I will say the finale, and this has been touched on too, and like on the internet and such, that, you know, there's a dreamlike quality to the finale.
Yes.
And if the first episode is, you know, like unraveling all that, that's fine. But still, at the end of the day, the finale failed when, you know, if I watched it and I didn't figure out what happened after watching it, as an adult, like, I do think that is, that's why we watch shows. It's very much show, don't tell. And if I can't figure it out and it's not, like, presented as a mystery, there's something wrong. So, and, kind of going off what you said too about, is it a, production? They very well, and they made the episode and they did it this way, and then they're like, we have to do this now. We got 2 seasons. That's fine too, but that would still remain that the finale wasn't that great on what it failed to deliver. And that when you watch a show, you should know what's going on.
Right, but I think this is all if it's not if our initial interpretation is like challenged, which I guess it has been, but it's only by tweets.
So for me right now, what I'm stuck on is what Thomas said about the show. But I'm gonna go
go ahead.
Believe my eyeballs and say Emily's alive.
Okay, I convinced Lee. Yay! I mean, we got you back basically.
Also,
so we all
got you back.
Also, the statue thing is like,
it's good, right?
It's like, I hate Sarah.
Good catch by Sarah. Yeah. Okay. I totally agree that one tweet from Thomas, even like the message of the whole show should support Emily being alive. But I just personally, I don't think whether Emily's alive or not needs to match the message of the whole show. But that is what Thomas said in the tweet. I will say the only other evidence that backs that up is the fact that the epilogue is presented so ethereally, like
it's very weird. Yeah.
It feels like everything that is happening here is idealized, which would mean that the person who is either Emily or Amelie is also idealized, which would mean that if that doesn't break the message of the show, that it's a good thing that Emily's back. So I think that's a potential thing you could say as well. But it's also good if Emily's back for Adrian.
Or wouldn't it be this is great. Okay, I'm writing fan fiction. Are you ready? All right. Okay. This is the premiere of season 6.
Yes.
Okay. We watch like the end of the finale again, like the little dream sequence, and then we pull back, and it's what's their name? Crap, I forgot. Tiki and Plog Fusion.
Oh, Gimme, yeah.
Gimme, and Gimme's like, ha ha ha! This is what it would look like if you blah 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 blah. and then they're like, this is what actually is gonna happen, or like this is, or so like here's what could happen, kind of like when we're in the rabbit hole with Alex.
Oh yeah, could be a potential future. Oh yeah, so shout out to
oh my gosh, I love that
Snooker7107 on YouTube who commented, I think the whole epilogue might have been a dream.
It feels very dreamlike.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of good evidence here. They say personally I think it might be a huge troll. Look, I don't think it's a dream because I think that would be, pardon the ableist language as we discussed from the movie. I think that would be absolutely insane if the epilogue is a dream. It would. There's just no way. But it is weird that it's shown.
I love that it's just like a weird dream sequence. I want that one now.
But Gimmy's like,
it is weird how it's presented.
I think personally, if it's Gimme, I would laugh for 20 minutes just because that would be so funny.
we should start off season 6 with Gimme speaking to the audience, Nino style, for 3 minutes.
About plastic.
Sold.
About you humans and your
Gimmy's like, why
fantasies.
do y'all keep doing this? No, it's also Gimmy's literally like, they always want something. It's not how are you doing, or
yeah. I just, April, does it help? Does it convince you at all that, do you think that if we had not seen the Thomas tweets, you would think that Emily is not alive?
I think that.
And does that matter? Because the tweets did happen,
The tweets
did happen.
I think that I think under the influence of the tweets, but then also rewatching and noticing things that that definitely caused me to, because at the end of it, I was like, yes, she's alive. We did this. But the more I thought about it and looked at Thomas's tweets, because I had rejoined Twitter at that point.
Always a mistake.
That was a mistake, yeah.
I know. and then just rewatching episodes and everything like that, I really I'm genuinely have doubts that she's alive. Even now, I'm like, she could be alive, but she really could not be alive. And you guys pointing out the dreamlike sequence just pushes me even more so like she's not alive. And also Thomas saying like it would change the message of everything. Like, yes, I fully agree because he didn't say that we were necessarily wrong that like the bad guy got his way. I mean, he didn't really say a whole lot. He very simply told us and planted doubt in our minds. But
yeah. Okay. So So if we want to go by what Thomas says and it's a simple wish, how could Emily and Natalie both be alive? Because if we want to say what I'm saying is true, we need some sort of simple explanation to fit what Thomas is saying. Mostly I just want to ignore what he's saying. But if we can't ignore what he's saying, then we need a simple wish. So here's possibilities. A lot of people want to say, they've suggested this many times, I wish the butterfly miraculous was never damaged. I wish the butterfly miraculous was never damaged. Therefore, Emily would not have fallen into a coma or whatever, and Natalie also would not have been injured. That's how they're both alive. I wish the peacock miraculous was never damaged.
But
you would think that's good, but then Thomas has replied to people saying, this doesn't fit the equivalent exchange rule.
No.
He said this many times. So he's saying there's no equivalent exchange for what if the butterfly miraculous was never damaged.
No. It also, it wouldn't make, it doesn't explain why the world would be so similar to how it already is.
There would be a lot of other things that have changed.
Yeah, and like there wouldn't have been like a final showdown with Monarch or anything along those lines because Monarch's sole purpose was to get the Miraculouses to make the wish.
We wouldn't even have Ladybug and Cat Noir.
This is interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I guess you guys aren't going to bite on this. So this is the best I've seen. This is Adriana on our Discord. I think this is the best because the frame of mind people are in is like, how do we get Thomas's wishes of an equivalent exchange to work with both of them being alive? Here you go. The Peacock Miraculous was damaged instead of the butterfly Butterfly Miraculous. So, am I confusing the two or whatever?
Maybe.
Hawkmoth's Miraculous was damaged instead of the Peacock Miraculous.
Okay. That's a pretty good one.
That's a good
therefore,
one.
Gabriel would have taken on the damage instead of Emily or Natalie. So now there's an exchange. So I like that part.
Yes.
But you guys are pointing out that the timeline would be different, which I think is true.
Yeah.
He would have died like so long ago.
Exactly.
I mean, look,
like,
he extended way past when he should have already,
it's true.
Honestly.
After being Cataclysm, yes.
Is there a simple wish that makes sense? I don't know, but personally,
I really think that his wish was something like, I want me and my wife to be together again, and then just for like whatever reason, magic, they're like, bloop, Natalie's healed.
Yeah, I don't know if this is what Thomas is thinking. I'm honestly not sure. It could be something more along those lines.
Because the only way. Okay, if the wish is supposed to be simple and we're trying to keep Emily alive and also Natalie alive.
The wish is, I wish Natalie had never taken the peacock. Then she never would have done this.
But then...
Yeah, I wish I used the peacock instead of Natalie or something. Yeah.
But the only explanation for me would be, like, I want Emily to be alive, take my life instead. And then at some point they just explained to us that Tomoe figured out a cure, Emily was smart enough, I don't know, and that's how Natalie was healed. Because we also don't know how much time passes between the end.
It's been a little bit. Okay, so the thing that, if you want a stupid wish that could result in them both being alive, Gabriel wishes that I take on Natalie's injuries. I'm wounded instead of Natalie, except I'm not quite dead yet, so I exchange my life for Emily now. So he's exchanging his health for Natalie and his life for Emily. Personally, I think that's dumb, but like, look,
yes.
I think all of these are dumb, honestly. So
no, I think I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I don't care.
Like, right, so that's why. So ultimately, why are we talking about this? Who cares? Like,
they're just gonna tell us eventually anyway, right?
I don't know. Is it? Are they gonna tell us?
That's the thing.
I think it's gonna be. I was gonna say, I think it'll be very obvious.
We'll know if Emily's alive. We'll know that.
I just don't think we're ever gonna know what the wish was.
Yeah, I think so. So here's what I would say to Thomas if you're listening to this. If you are, like I said before, if season 6 will reveal what the wish was, then don't say anything. Like, you shouldn't have even tweeted what you did tweet. Like, you keep quiet. Like, sure. If there's no more explanation ever what the wish is, then come on the podcast and tell us what the wish is. Like, that would be that's the solution, because
that's what we
want. I need you to understand that people are frustrated. We've just spent like an hour talking about this. Like, this is more annoying than anything. And at this point, just come and tell us what it was. Like, that'll clear everything up.
I'm willing to accept whatever it is. I just need to know.
We need to know.
Tell us.
And here's my ultimate opinion on this whole debate. I think this is just like more annoying than anything, because to me, the most important things about the finale, I still love the finale. I still think Gabriel sacrificing himself is like the most important part of the wish, and that was like beautifully done. I think and Marinette getting through to him. I think the Adrianette scene at the end is beautiful. I love their battle in the Dead Wife Garden. I think this is all just distracting what is otherwise an amazing finale. So I really don't care what this wish is. I honestly don't even care if Emily is alive that much. I don't think that affects the quality of the finale or the season, or it doesn't really matter. I'm not like thematically so impacted by whether the balance is kept or not. Like, I don't care. So this is all just a distraction from what was otherwise a great finale, and that's why we need to clear this up. That's my pitch. But yeah, I still do love I said on the finale podcast, I thought that was the best episode of Ladybug. I do think if Emily ends up not being alive, I think it's like, it does hurt it, because then our initial interpretation, my initial enjoyment of it was like wrong in some way. Unless it was supposed to be a subversion and I was supposed to feel that way, which is complicated. But ultimately, I still love the episode, and whether or not it's the exact best episode of Ladybug, I still love it a lot.
I was going to say, I think that whether whether or not Emily is alive or not, it doesn't hurt the episode for me as much as it hurts everything else, because it's still a great episode. It just changes my interpretation of it.
Okay, yeah. I'll put one final code on this. I didn't mention this until now. I don't really fully know what's going on with this, but Ladybug Wikia, if you go on there, it does say Emily is alive, and I believe that is because please don't put stock into this. There's some sort of script that was leaked about the finale, and I believe that script does reference the fact that it is Emily at the end. Now, why wouldn't I tell you this earlier? Because this could be, like I said, production. This could have been an earlier version of the script. So
it could have been a version of the script from like.
It could have just been a rewrite, It doesn't I don't think it's 6 years ago, but it could have just been not what happened in the episode. We don't really know, but I will put it out there that people in the know do seem to think Emily's alive. But I don't think it's necessarily for the right reasons, but it is, so that's out there. Okay. Are we done with this debate? Never to mention it again until Thomas inevitably trudges it up again.
I just want to love that last episode again. Can we do that?
Let's do it. Okay. How about looking back on season 5? Probably shorter since we went long on our debates. Let me start off here. Looking back on season 5, Delaney, was this the best season of Ladybug?
Yes, I think so.
Yes. April?
Yes.
Adrian and Marinette kissed. Like, that's all we wanted.
Like multiple times.
Yes. And then we would get the camera spin is like, please, every time. I don't care if they kiss like 20 times every episode. We have to have the camera spin every time. It's the best.
I need it to be dramatic.
We got two dramatic versions.
It is
episode
my
24
favorite thing that has ever happened. It's so good.
Love it. Season 4 was also very good. I will say season 4 is also great.
Thing. The next contender is season 4. It's pretty close, but season 5, even though the finale makes me like enraged, I really like season 5.
The ranking of the Ladybug seasons is pretty simple. I don't think that haters like Ladybug Reddit wouldn't agree with this, but whatever. Season 5 best, season 4 second best, season 3, season 2, season 1. Like, it's a reverse order. The show's gotten better every season.
It's literally just that.
It's very simple. Yeah, I think it's not. So not only do I think this is the best season of Ladybug, I think this is one of the best seasons of television we've covered on this podcast. Ladybug somehow went from a show we thought was like fun, but like not necessarily that great, in like seasons 1 and 2, even into season 3. It's like the show's good, but it's not like this top tier show.
For me, it has surpassed Star, which kind of has a similar kind of beginning.
Yeah.
Of like, it's just
I think Star's more complicated because we think it peaks kind of in the middle. But then of course, like, and then I would rank this season like it's under book 3 of Korra, which is the best. I mean, that's the best season. Like, so that's like it's somewhere under the best season of television, sure.
Ever.
No, I think this is I used to talk about on this podcast the top tier animated shows years ago when we were covering this were Steven Universe, BoJack Horseman, and during its heyday Rick and Morty, which your mileage may vary on.
Yes, I would. That's also what I was thinking. I would say like this is probably under, but above some seasons of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I think season 5 was a top tier animation season equivalent to those types of seasons. I'm not saying Ladybug as a whole is as good as those shows, but I think this season did reach those.
I would say this season and season 4 really like catapults Ladybug.
Which I don't think is an opinion shared by many, including many listening. I will say, I think a lot of the reasons why this season are so great is the serialization and how it built on itself, and I really feel like you had to watch it in order. I'm not saying you did anything wrong if you didn't watch it in order. I'm just saying, like, maybe that's a reason why we liked it more.
That's also, this show also, as much as it frustrates us, has a very consistent mythology that it continues to build upon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when we're talking about shows, like, I mean, really the only other show that I can think of with, like, this much mythology that it has built on, baked in, is Avatar. Close would be Steven Universe, but Steven Universe's lore is like very like paper thin. Like there's just not like there's a bunch of gyms and we live in space. Like that's it. Like
and it's all about they expand on it at the end, but
they do, and it's really just about rose quartz. But if we're talking about like a universe that we have created and like it has rules and, you know, magic rules, and I would say Ladybug really is living up to that that legacy that Avatar, you know, and of course Korra built upon.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's like if you want to be a Ladybug hater and still acknowledge that the season is great, a big reason why the show is so good now is because it's had so much time to iterate on its mythology and its characters and stuff.
Do not make it this far anymore. They do not
this
make
season has had 5 seasons of 26 episodes. This show's had a ton of time to build. And it's not like it was incredible at the beginning. It's just, it's made great use of the time that it's had, and it has had the time, it's not like Ladybug's fault that it's had so much time, but it's like other shows haven't had this luxury. Owl House certainly didn't have this luxury, right? So, Ladybug had a lot, like personally, I think what Ladybug did with Sen of Monsters is like a lot better than what Owl House ended up doing with Grimwalkers, for instance. 100%. But like Owl House didn't have as nearly as much time as Ladybug to build up on it.
They didn't even get a 3rd season. It's just like it's not even the equivalent of a full season. They got like, was it 2 45-minute specials?
Yeah.
3.
3.
So it's I think that's a big reason. Here's my like what I wrote down my speech about. It's why season 5 is so great. Maybe this will convince people who are listening. I think this season basically fixed everything that that we had like previously criticized about Ladybug on this podcast. Previously in season 4, I'm like, season 4 is so incredible, but I feel like it's a little bit hit or miss whether the big episodes of the season are like the best ones. You know, it's like some of us loved Ephemeral, some of us didn't, etc. Right? Like I think they're a little bit more polarizing. The big episodes.
I don't know. Ephemeral's really good though.
Did you? I feel like I don't remember if you liked it or not, but I
think I liked Ephemeral.
But this season, I think
creating.
This season, the best episodes are the biggest ones. I think like when we go through the our best episodes, I feel like we're gonna just talk about the biggest episodes of the season. I think they nailed the big episodes. Number 1, number 2. Ladybug, I mean, this wasn't necessarily something that was wrong, but Ladybug had been infuriatingly, not like serialized, not following up on itself. I think this is one of the most serialized seasons of television we've ever covered on the podcast. I think people underrate this, in part because they didn't see it happen in order, but every episode is a continuation of the last episode. Like seriously, every single one in some fashion. It's remarkable how many plot elements there are that are serialized. This is a show that was 0% serialized in season 1. So that is wild. Mm-hmm. This is like more serialized this season than BoJack Horseman, because that show had a lot of one-off episodes. I'm not saying that's bad or anything, but like this show is remarkably serialized. Number three, I think we're like, okay, Ladybug feels like generally like it has good messages and stuff, but maybe it could use some more specific representation. This season is super progressive as a legitimate queer representation. I think it got a lot better with a lot of its messages. Season 4 also did this. It had the policing episode and stuff. This episode had that one social message about the one with the Marinette's past and stuff. The show is consistently very progressive and good outside of even the very special episode. So I think this has turned in from like what felt like kind of a morally neutral show in the beginning to like genuinely like a force of good for what a lot of kids are watching. Big criticism of Ladybug. Why isn't stuff happening? Why aren't we doing reveals? We keep putting stuff off. This is maybe the number one criticism of Ladybug. Now, we didn't get the identity reveal, but things definitely happened this season. Marinette and Adrian dated. It was confirmed that Adrian's a Cinemonster. Also, Kagami's a Cinemonster. Also, Felix is a Cinemonster. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of lore was revealed. We did get the backstory, even if it wasn't exactly how we expected, in why Felix and Adrian are Cinemonsters. A ton of stuff happened.
We got consequences to our actions.
It starts off with Gabriel getting hurt, and he dies at the end. Things happened. He actually died. Yeah, I agree.
He's legitimately
He straight up died.
Marinette and Adrian dated during the season. I had criticized the show for not exploring the space of Marinette and Adrian dating because I said if we're not going to do the identity reveal, they can date, and that's interesting, even if they don't know who each other are. Well, the season did that. It did it for many episodes. They were dating, and it explored that space, I think, pretty fully, and I thought it was fantastic.
And very well executed.
Very well executed.
Enough. It's just, look, they do the spin cam. What more do you want from television?
Yeah.
And in the finale, they did painted different angles of the
what
kiss.
more do you want out of your
beautiful.
TV show?
Here's a surprising thing that I'm praising the show for. I think we'd criticized previously Chloe, Lila, these characters here. We're not doing anything with them. Hey, guess what? This season did stuff with Chloe and Lila.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily love what it did with Chloe and Lila, but it did stuff with them.
It did.
So I think that's an improvement over the previous season.
Marinette dunking on Chloe is like so good.
Chloe took over Paris, had a coup and took over Paris.
Yeah,
she did something
that
with her.
episode's ridiculous.
Previous criticism. I think Felix was a bad character. I think the show was infuriatingly introduced him in the random season 3 episode, and he's so consequential. They made Felix a good character this season. He's a great character
boy,
now.
And I would die for him.
We need to protect that.
Isn't that wild? I used to hate Felix. He's a great character this season. That's amazing. Such an improvement.
We ship him with Kagami. It's great.
That was an inspired direction.
Yes.
It really was.
And I loved it every minute.
It's so good.
Last thing, and this is partly a criticism, partly praising the show. I think a big thing I've criticized the show for is not slowing down for its big moments. And I think that was still something that was wrong this season. But in the end, in the last 3 episodes, I do think the show did slow down for its big moments.
Spin cam.
When it counted, big Marinette and Adrian kisses, the big lore reveal in the episode before the 2-part finale. I think they did slow down for that, and it was amazing. I think the fight between Bug Noir and Monarch, they slowed down for it, and we explored the space of the dead wife garden, and it was beautiful.
Out of the cabinet is like
so
that
good.
Episode was basically a horror movie.
Yeah. So like when it counted, I do think we did ultimately slow down. That being said, this is still something you can improve on more heading into next season, continuing to slow down for its big moments. This will be vital whenever we do the identity reveal for them to really take their time with that. But there you go. That I feel like, look, a ton of criticisms we've had against the show. This season improved all of them. This is a great season. There you go.
Yeah.
I rest my case. What do you think?
I mean, I already thought so. You didn't change my mind, but
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really trying to I'm trying to convince the haters.
The problem is you can't convince the haters because they watched like 1 episode in season 2 and they just dunk on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to convince like the people in our community who like Ladybug and like what it's doing, but aren't quite as high on it as us. So we'll see.
And then I also don't understand the people who were like, I don't like the animation style. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, especially the last 3 episodes of the season were gorgeous.
Hello.
Yeah.
So gorgeous. It's still a little inconsistent for sure.
I mean, I was struck by Action. Action's a very pretty episode.
I was gonna say Action does not look bad at all.
Yeah, it's not the same quality of the like last 3, but it's solid. Yeah.
Well,
like in season 2, this episode would look so bad. This would be like the bad animation team got this, but it's fine how Action looks. Absolutely.
I was gonna say Action looks like it fits into this season in terms of the animation. Like,
yeah, it does. So that is another thing that we could add to my speech is they did genuinely have improved the animation a lot as well.
Also, if you did not live through Korra Book 2, you don't get to know about the quality of a show's animation.
Yeah, I feel like there's a Korra Book 2, some equivalents in Ladybug seasons 1 and 2 that we've forgotten about.
Like, if you didn't live through it, you can't complain.
Yeah. It's true. It's definitely less noticeable also with the 3D show. It's only so bad you can be with 3D models, I think. Ruby.
I was like, Dylan.
Ruby might disagree with what I just said.
And I'm just like, Ruby
also looks gorgeous in the last season.
Also, I was talking about lore, and in my mind, I'm just like, Ruby. World building.
That's a show that's had a ton of time and space to expand on its lore, and it did not do nearly as well with it as Ladybug.
It failed.
So that is, like I said, look, it's not to Ladybug's credit that it's had so much time. Well, shows like Ruby have had a lot of time, and they didn't necessarily do.
And they haven't done it.
Yeah.
Ruby is like an independent show. I don't mean so.
I was trying to explain semblance to Tanya the other day. I don't know why.
Why?
Oh, it's because I was talking about I got hit by like the car door, and I was talking about. And I've been playing Halo, and I was like, you know how like when I break my overshield in Halo, that's what it felt like. I was like, it's like in Ruby with they're vulnerable. That's what it felt like when I got hit by the car door. Like
it felt like your semblance, your aura shattered.
Yeah, my aura. I couldn't remember the word for aura. I was like, it's not semblance. What's it called? And I was like, my aura. That's what it was. My aura shattered, and I was like,
Delaney, you're such a nerd. Oh my god, you got hit. But that's your reaction to getting hit by a door.
No, that didn't happen then. No, then I was just trying not to cry because it hurt so bad.
Okay, good. It wasn't immediate.
It wasn't immediate.
You are like my aura just got shattered.
No, but then Tanya was on Twitter, and her friend, she sent this post, and it's this horrible image that's like red and black, and she was tweeting about how when you roll over in bed and your nose ring gets caught in the blanket, and we were like, oh my god. And we're like, is it attached to your face? And then I was like, yeah, that's what it felt like when I got hit by the car door.
Oh god.
And that's what turned into the aura. It's like I'm very vulnerable right now. It hit me right in the shoulder. I was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, you'll die if someone attacks you again.
That's what it felt like. I mean, I've healed now, but no, that's what I was like.
Okay.
If you had stabbed me right after I got hit by the car door, I would have insta-died.
Okay,
Delaney. No one stabbed you.
From that into what is your favorite episode of the season?
Oh, this is tough. I have to look at his list. I don't even know.
Do you want me to propose candidates first and then you guys choose?
That's
or do you have one? Okay, let me tell you I don't have a one. I mean, I guess I said the finale, but here's my list of, and these are also the biggest episodes. Like I said, I feel like the biggest ones are the best. Episode 9, Elation, with the Maricat kiss, our first Marin and Adrian kiss. I think that's a great episode. Episodes 10 and 11, Kwame's Choice, part 1 and 2.
Ooh, I do really like Kwame's Choice.
Those are great episodes. Episodes 18, Emotion, which is our big Felix as Argos take over the city Red Blood Moon episode.
That was a good episode too.
Episode 24, Representation, with the big Sentimonster reveal puppet show avant-garde stage play. And then episodes, we can say both of the finale, but especially the Recreation part 2 with the big face-off in the Dead Wife Garden and the Marinette and Adrian kiss. I think those are legitimately all the biggest episodes of the season, and those are all what I would say are my favorites of the season.
Yeah.
April, what's your pick of those episodes?
Oh no.
What's your top 3?
Top 3?
Yeah, that's not better? What's your top 5?
Well, no, my problem right now is that I can't remember the names, even though you literally just
Well, just say what happened in it. Say what, yeah.
So...
The names suck. That's my biggest criticism this season. I don't like the naming scheme. Okay,
I
continue.
hate the name. So I... Oh.
What's Emma's favorite episode?
All of them, obviously.
Okay. Delaney, you go first. Out of those, what's your pick?
Can you list them again?
Oh my gosh. What happened? What happened in the episode?
Well, I was looking at I'm looking at the list of episodes, and
yeah, 9, 10, 11, 18, 24, 26 are the ones I said.
I mean, 18's pretty good. The thing is, Adoration's up there for me.
Yeah, what exactly happened? Let's look at Adoration.
That's the gay episode.
Yes, also great. And this obviously isn't a complete list of episodes. That episode's great too, absolutely. We also loved 19, the Felix Kagami episode.
Yes.
There's a ton of good ones.
Well, okay, so fun fact on Wikipedia, episode, or what did they list it as? Episode.
Yeah, I'm on the Ladybug Wikia right now.
I was going to say, on actual Wikipedia, they list action as episode 19.
They do.
So, you know?
I guess that's where they think it happens. That would be funny if it's true.
I love that.
Maybe they're dating during... I don't know. It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like
I think the two best episodes of Ladybug are Representation with the play and the lore reveal, and the season finale. I think those are the best episodes of Ladybug.
I think Representation is a great episode. I also really Emotion's another good one with where Argos shows up for the first time. And then I really liked the episode where like Marinette, even though it drives us all crazy, where Marinette is like in love with Cat Noir and they go visit like Andre, like I thought that episode was wonderful. And
then, that's Elation,
yeah. And then of course the finale and Representation. There's too many good episodes this season.
That's the problem, honestly.
Yeah.
They're all good episodes.
Any other picks?
Well, we already said like Kwame's Choice is just so good.
Yeah. Here's my ranking. Number 1, pending the resolution of this wish, is the finale. Number 2, Representation. Number 3, we can do a tied part 1 and 2 of Kwame's Choice. Tied for number 3. Number 4, Emotion. Number 5, Elation would be my top 5/6 episodes. All good picks.
Don't
and then there's other
make me
great
choose
ones
a
too.
favorite child.
And obviously Revolution, the end of Revolution with the kiss is great. You just also have the Chloe.
The problem is I forgot about some of these episodes. Like when they like trick him into going on that scavenger hunt, hilarious.
Oh, that was so good.
If we're talking about the season into arcs, I really don't remember the beginning of the season as well, if I'm being honest.
So this is the Joan of Arc season. Love that. Good stuff.
That's definitely the most random episode.
It's so fun. I love it because it's so stupid. It's so good.
Yeah, so I think looking at the season in arcs, you had kind of the intro episodes, 1 to 3. Eventually we got into what we called the reverse Love Square episodes, which was fun, although kind of infuriating. Mm-hmm. But then we got the 10 and 11 mid-season finale with the Kwame's Choice. Not that we actually got that as the mid-season finale. Then you have 12 to 19, which I describe as Marin and Adrian start dating, and we get juicy Cinemonster stuff. That's kind of the two big things happening.
Also, Intuition is so good.
Yeah, what happened in Intuition?
That's the one with the robot pilot.
Yeah.
So
and there's some good Cinemonster stuff in there too.
So good.
Don't forget about I Love Moo. That's a classic.
I love Moo.
Then you get episodes 20 to 23 is the Lila and Chloe takeover / Lila Rising arc. And then you have the end of the season stuff, 24 to 26.
So the problem is the finale has Gimme, and I love Gimme, but I'm also mad at the finale, so it's tough.
Yeah, you were lowest on the finale too when we talked about it.
It's tough.
Which might look like a prescient take, depending on this wish.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
So my biggest take on this season is episodes 12 to 19. That was the sweet spot of Marin and Adrian are dating, and we're going hard into the Cinemonster hinting and lore stuff. That was like pure bliss, those episodes. Like this is Ladybug at its best.
In the previous seasons where we're like, oh god, it's Felix. Now we're like, oh my god, it's Felix. Great episode.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, he's back.
The tone of the conversation has changed.
My comparison is the episodes 12 to 19 felt like Owl House season 2 when we went hard into the lore, the Belos lore, and we also had a lot of Lumity. That was like the best parts of Owl House for me, and this is the Ladybug.
The Grudge episode is just
That was not in season 2, but yes.
So that's all I can think about.
It's still a good episode.
It's still good. But yeah, I did this combination of big romance with your main characters plus big lore stuff is really good. No, the Grudge Review is the end of season 1 feels like season 2 less, but maybe we'll do Lumity.
Don't they get together until the season 2?
Yeah, but they were not together with Grudgeby.
That was
Remember you wrote a fanfic on the Grudgeby episode, Delaney? They weren't together yet.
I did. You're right. I did write a fanfic.
That was Oh Wow Sports.
Yes.
Oh Wow Sports.
Okay.
Okay, so that was one. Okay.
Delaney, any other thoughts on the arcs of the season? Looking at it from that way.
The thing is, the season is just really solid.
Yeah.
Like all the episodes are great.
Yeah, I want to revisit the beginning just to remember exactly what happened more.
Like the thing is, like you get into the middle of the season, and it's just like a bunch of stuff's happening like the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be like if I had to have a small complaint. It's just so much happening.
I'm like exhausted thinking about it all. Like so much happened. I'd watch an episode and I have to try to explain to Tanya everything that happened. And I'm like, it's exhausting. I can't do it.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll keep the breakneck pace for season 6. You would think maybe not if we're entering a new era of Ladybug.
That's what I was saying. I feel like it has to be slower because of like whatever Lila's gonna do.
Well, and also we don't know if they're going past a season 7. So
yeah, we do not yet.
So it could
100 episodes, 100 years of Ladybug.
We're past 100 episodes.
Oh, I don't know. I can't count.
Action was according to Ladybug Wiki, Action was episode 131.
500 episodes of Ladybug. 500
episodes.
500.
Way more episodes than Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. April, final thoughts on season 5 as a whole?
It is truly an amazing season of animation, and I think it's always hard because people will still continue to ask me like, oh, like what's the best show? And I'll always say it's Miraculous Ladybug, but you have to get through the first season.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's like that with Korra. Like you have to watch Korra, but you have to get through book 1 and book 2.
Yeah.
Which book 2 is like way harder to get through.
Book 1's great.
Book 1's great. Book 2 is terrible.
But end of book 2 is good.
Yes, the end of book 2 is good. Like literally the season finale. But like
here's a few episodes at the end that have been lost to history. We love the kites, okay?
I love
the equivalent, literally the equivalent of Plog and Tiki.
Yes. I want more Gimme. Give it to me. Gimme.
How would we ever see Gimme again?
I don't know. Why not? I don't care.
I don't know. Plog and Tiki go off the rails. Why not?
They do hang out. So yeah, why not?
Just why not?
They one night.
Question.
I was gonna say they one night. Oh, that would be a great way to bring back Gimme. Is Marinette is like, I need to know what the wish was, and then we find out what the wish was. Nailed it.
Only Gimme knows the
wish.
That's
only Gimme knows the wish.
That is interesting.
Gimmy's
I just thought of that. I'm so proud of myself.
Gimmy's
that's good.
Kill you, sorry.
Yeah, Gimme wouldn't say. But
you don't know that.
Maybe Gimmy's like, he's dead now. Who cares?
I was gonna say the other thing too is I bet
Gimmy's like, I slept since then. I don't remember.
Yeah, Gimmy's like, I forgot it the second I heard it.
Yeah, that's literally what Gimmy's like, I don't know. Gimmy's like, I forgot.
How long ago was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
okay. Look. Anything else? Season 5. It was fun, and it was very fun to talk about and experience. Yes. And I'm very happy we watched it in order and week to week. Yes. I think that was all really good.
Yes. No, I can't binging Ladybug is miserable. It's emotionally.
Yeah, if Ladybug's a Netflix release, I think it's the Cinemonster stuff's not as good. Yeah, it's fun to build up. Yeah. You say binging Ladybug sucks. You purposefully do it to yourself, though, every time we podcast, Delaney. You don't watch it week to week.
Number one,
not like
you're rude.
10 episodes.
Number one, you're rude. Number one, you're rude. Number two, I think there was like a 2-week stretch where I watched an episode.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, like once or twice you watched it that
twice, week. Okay, now listen.
You're like you're the one that says binging Ladybug sucks. When
no one asked you.
Delaney alone.
I don't think you're capable of watching week to week, though. I don't think it can happen.
No. Look,
except you kind of did it with Spy Family.
I play Xbox. I haven't. I'm usually better about Spy Family. I'm behind.
You haven't watched the beginning.
I'm behind on Spy Family,
and I'm behind on super behind on G-Witch, but it's because of I'm afraid of the trauma.
Yeah, well, that show finished.
I know. I haven't even finished. I know. I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's not really worth it, if I'm being honest.
I know it's not, but I'm like, I love it, and I need to watch it.
No, it's fine. There's good stuff. Anyway, not every show can be Miraculous Ladybug with a bunch of kisses. It only took 5 seasons, but we got there.
Fine.
Okay.
Look, not as long as Bones. I'm fine with it.
Oh God, geez. Check that off your Delaney bingo card. Bringing up Bones.
I had to. Oh, also, this whole time we were talking about like the environmental messages, and not once did we bring up space dumpsters.
Nope, we were strained. You brought up the tower, but the tower is the same thing as the space dumpsters.
Look, we're trying to be really good about space dumpster content.
Look, we really need to know if space dumpsters will be returning in season 6.
We
That's
do. It's important.
Biggest question.
Make it happen, somebody.
Make it happen.
He's the worst mayor.
Not mayor anymore.
Nope.
Will Mayor Bustier revive the space dumpster program?
Definitely not. That is not.
That's what I would ask her to debate. Colleen Bustier, please speak to the space dumpster program of your predecessor.
She's going to be like, no. She's going to laugh at you.
Okay. That's it for our Season 5 coverage. There's still the Paris special, which I guess takes place during Season 5, but whatever. We'll meme more about how they went to Paris in the miraculous world. That's the big place they went to.
I was like, okay, this whole time I'm like, really?
There's a gimmick. Like, there's a thing, you know.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think you've seen pictures. I think you know probably what the gimmick. I guess not.
I mean, I've seen pictures. That doesn't mean I understand the pictures.
That's true. I don't know exactly what happens either. I'm trying to avoid it.
There are pictures. You are correct.
We'll talk about Paris special. At some point this year, probably we'll talk about the Paris special at some point. Let us know what you thought of everything, including the big debate. Where do you stand now, etc. Anything we missed? Yeah, I don't think so, but maybe there's some tweets that we missed. Anything else you saw? And yeah, all that at overlyanimated.com in the comments. You can consider supporting us if you liked our Season 5 coverage at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Phonician. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, Steve, Michael, and Phonician. And we will be back to talk about the Paris special. Check out some other stuff we have going on. We talked about Fiona and Cake. Might be some other stuff as well. We will see coming out at overlyanimated.com. Subscribe to not miss anything. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.